We're recording. This is session or episode 1, the pilot episode, Tremors of the Avatar Legends: The Blooming Lotus. Each of you have expressed interest in joining the group, the Red Lotus, which is a group of people. Most people see them as a terrorist organization in the world of the Avatar world. They tend to uh, they tend to uh, they tend to they tend to cat got my tongue. They tend to be more on the anarchy side of the house, and are involved in toppling governments. This is taking place 2 years after the end of the comic series that followed the show of The Legend of Korra. So 2 years ago was the downfall of the Earth Empire, and the death of the Earth Queen at the hands of the Red Lotus. So at this point in the world, there is the Earth Kingdom. The Earth Kingdom. The world is in relative peace. The Earth Kingdom is probably in the most upheaval since it has been trying to go towards a more democratically run government over the traditional monarchy. And there's been a lot of chaos politically because of that. In addition, one thing that's exacerbated it is there's been a
Shut up, dogs!
There's a lot of stray dogs.
Yeah.
There's been a resurgence of dark spirit attacks, which there was a number that gained some coverage in the south, or the north and south poles about 4 years ago. But this never really touched the Earth Kingdom. So the Earth Kingdom now is experiencing various attacks on mostly rural villages. They haven't really hit any urban centers. But this is causing, amidst the political chaos, this is causing a lot of people are afraid, and a lot of people generally aren't connected to the spirit world or have any interest in being associated with the spirit world. So there's a lot of fear mongering, and the Red Lotus generally is in the position to try to harmonize the relationship between humans and spirits. So there's a particular interest in their part to understand what is the root cause of this. So each of you have joined or are interested in joining the Red Lotus, and you've heard, you've been referred to the village of Naopi by someone who you talked to when you expressed some interest in this. And they told you that there is a local leader for the Red Lotus who represents them, that lives in this village. And they told you to go and speak with him about about joining more officially. They didn't give you a name, but they did mention that this person generally avoids contact and avoids notice, but his distinguishing characteristic is that each of his feet are missing a toe.
What if he's wearing shoes?
You'll have to find out.
You gotta offer him a foot massage.
Free foot wash?
And
So-
they would have also yeah, go
I
on.
have a question about I don't know what to refer to the Earth Nation as other than Earth Nation at this point, but is it like one big democracy now, or is it a bunch of smaller democracies, or
Yeah, it's
does it actually vary depending on where you are because they're slightly different states?
it is still the Earth Kingdom, and it is composed of different states. It is not a democracy. They tried that and it didn't go well, so it's still a monarchy. That is like kind of cut up into different states that are run by their own, vassals, effectively. So, for example, like, there's like a king of the king of Omashu runs the state, rules the state that Omashu is in, of the Earth Kingdom, and then he pays homage to the Earth King Wu, who lives in Ba Sing, the capital in Ba Sing Se.
And then where is Naopi? Is it anywhere near the Eastern Earth or the Eastern Air Temple? Because that might be good for my character.
Naopi is in the southwestern region of the Earth Kingdom, particularly here, denoting where the white circle's at.
Okay.
So yeah, each of you have found your way into. Have you found your way to Naopi? So if you want to give a brief description of like where your character might have been and like how they got there, and
How you got to Naopi?
how you got to Naopi, and maybe a little bit about like how you heard, like what person or how you heard about this Red Lotus contact. Because presumably you were given some direction to get here.
Right. So, we're not officially Red Lotus yet.
You are not officially Red Lotus yet.
Okay, so at least for my character, I know at least what he's willing to share. He was studying in the air temple in Republic City because he is an airbender. He was, recently discovered or recently became an airbender in around 171, which is like 5 years ago now, 6 years ago. And so was sent there by the Earth Kingdom at the time to study under the monks there. But he had a falling out with the monks. He's not very specific about what the falling out is, but he's clearly got some lingering issues. Partly embarrassment, but you don't know whether or not he quit or was kicked out. He found himself living on the streets of Republic City, basically in slums. He's always sort of been a city kid because he was raised in Ba Sing Se, which is like the biggest of the cities in the Earth Kingdom. And while living there, he would be pretty free that he saw the corruption of the Earth Kingdom growing up. He saw the corruption of the Earth Queen. The Red Lotus killed her. It's well known that we have this effete fool as a new king, and he's still in charge of everything. So That's not so good. But then he also saw that democracy is the answer because Republic City is filled with poor people who are struggling just to get by. And the wealthy continue to just bleed the poor for everything they're worth, even there. So governments aren't working. We're still detached even with the spirit portals open and spirits more freely moving into the world. We're still having problems with the spirits because people don't respect them and don't live in harmony with them. So the Red Lotus just makes sense. And while he himself was living in squalor in Republic City, just trying to survive day to day, he wasn't. First he became politically conscious when he realized just how bad all governments are. Then he was approached by someone who was in the Red Lotus, who realized that his philosophies were beginning to align with the Red Lotus, and they were the ones who told him that if he wanted to join, he could travel to Naopi. So he's scraped together what he can, essentially just to buy passage on a ship to get, I don't know if here's like coastal town is or Naopi is coastal, but most of the way I think you would have probably gone by ship and then, hooked it the remaining portion of the way. Or at least, he doesn't necessarily like openly airbend if he doesn't have to, but if he was alone, he probably would have like airbent his way across the landscape.
Okay. Yeah, so Naopi is it's higher up in the mountains.
Right, that's what it looks like from the circle.
Yeah. But yeah, that makes sense.
So have we met before? Like, do we know each other at this point, or are we starting from scratch?
I'd say that you haven't met yet.
Okay. Because I would say that Ura would probably recognize just from my bearing that I probably had military training.
Mm. As far as Udo goes, he's been a bit lost trying to even just catch his bearings since he's been out, trying to catch up with the times. He's an old man though, so it's difficult. And as far as the Red Lotus stuff goes, I imagine he probably, there's maybe encountered some, not so objectionable Red Lotus type who said, hey, you know what? You look like you're looking for a purpose. Give this old man a thing to do.
That's fair.
He's like, let's just go look at this guy. He's missed a toe on each of his feet. I'm like, what? Does it wear shoes?
He'd tell you that he doesn't usually wear shoes.
Okay.
And if he does, they're open-toed.
Lucky me. Oh, guess I better start checking.
So how long has Ura been traveling?
I don't know if he knows anymore.
He's just been traveling for a while.
He's been traveling. Oh, hey, there's a village. Where's that where I'm supposed to go?
That's fair.
But so, remembering Ura's background, how long have you been back in this world and not in the spirit world?
I think we said that maybe about a year-ish.
Yeah.
But I imagine him coming back out of the spirit realm, some ways away from any village, so I had to wander, just surviving as best I could at that point, until I found a place. And I don't think I was near any major civilization. Definitely didn't come out where I went in.
Yeah.
Because I'm curious, like you're Fire Nation, and so at some point you were fighting in the war where the Fire Nation was trying to conquer everybody. So, like, how surprised were you to discover that the Fire Nation lost, or don't you know yet? That's going to come as a shock. My heart.
Right. I think he learned, because like I probably would have been the first thing he would have tried to do was like get back to, you know, his battalion or whatever, right? And then somebody's like, oh man, they lost. I mean, what year is it? How long was I gone?
It's 176, sir.
When did I go in?
I mean, the war was lost around 100, so.
Yeah.
According to who?
That's true. That's his secret. His secret.
Like longing.
By the end of Dustin's game, the Fire Nation will congregate for all. Fire Lord Buddha.
No, I imagine, again, the first thing he would have done is try to see if he can find the nearest, fire encampment. The landscape, I would assume, because I just imagine, because the Fire Nation is like from those islands, right?
Yeah.
I kind of imagine being, purebred, if you will, like from within the nation. And like, so coming out of it and recognizing that it's not where none of the islands that I'm from, as far as landscape. So I knew I was someplace foreign. But, the Fire Nation would have won. Surely they would have taken over, so where's the nearest Fire Nation camp?
Yeah, the Fire Nation had like colonies and areas it conquered in the mainland as well, especially in the Earth Kingdom.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, if you're as Uro would have been asking around for where the Fire Nation camps were, he would have gotten like quizzical looks.
Yeah.
And like a number of some of the younger people might have thought you were joking, and some of the older ones would probably give you flack. You might find a few. Like people who would tell you just like they lost. The Fire Nation is now no longer here. They don't fight. They've given up their warfaring ways.
It doesn't sound like the warlord I know.
Well.
Yeah, by the way, Tony, spoiler alert if you ever watch Avatar.
Yeah, I know.
What if Tony was like, no spoiling?
That would make
Firelord may pull this out.
So I'd say that as you're getting in, so the village of Naopi is a mining town, and one of the thing you notice when you first walk in to the village is that it is patrolled by you see a few patrols, regular patrols of soldiers from Zaofu. So they're wearing they have metal plates and greaves over their plates over their arms and greaves, and they're wearing long dark green colors that are of the Earth Kingdom, kind of typical Zaofu. Typical Zaofu. Let's see if I can show this. Typical Zaofu wear. So you see various patrols, each consisting of two to three of these soldiers that are walking the streets. It doesn't give they don't appear to be hostile. But one thing you notice is that the people generally are trying to avoid them and not make eye contact. This village is fairly small. Walking down the center, walking down like the main street towards the center, you see a green space, like a quad of sorts in the middle. And that's where you see various merchants and hawkers and people congregating. You see a few people laughing and looking like they're making, looking like they're socializing. The homes here are kind of traditional Earth Kingdom homes, squat stone structures that aren't massive, or they look like there are a few rooms at most. The general condition of the town is that like the people living, they all seem to be fairly simple kind of. They don't appear to be any type of royalty or like very wealthy. You see a number of like people that you would expect to be farmers, and some that would be laborers. You see in the quad, you also see a few people practicing their earth bending, and then with varying degrees of success as they attempt to launch rocks at each other.
What kind of metal is the armor made out of? Is any like the stuff the soldiers are wearing? Is it any kind of like? Is it specialized or just regular, mundane, everyday metal?
It is mundane metal.
Okay. And if this is a mining, so this is a mining village, do we know? My character would be interested showing up here. What kind of what are they mining? Is it some kind of ore or something like that, or?
Yeah. So since your character is from Zaofu, you might Zaofu is a like home of the metal bending clan. So
Right.
metal to them is of a cultural significance. You know that they generally use steel, so as like their main metal. That's like what most of their ore consists of. So this particular village seems, you would guess that like all the guards are wearing steel. And so
Okay, so they're from Zaofu, so that's where I'm from. So these guys look familiar.
yeah.
Okay. How far is it from Zaofu to this village?
It's about a 3 days journey.
Okay.
By cart.
Is there any kind of motorized carts or gliders or anything like that? Any kind of?
There are, though out in the more rural areas, they're not terribly common. Though if you were in Zaofu, you would be able to procure one, or at least get a ride from one.
Right. Yeah, I think my character would probably get like a ride from somebody who had like a motorized cart, at least half the way or whatever the way, and then just kind of walked in.
Okay.
Actually, yeah,
Taking-
we didn't hear how your character got interested in the Red Lotus.
Well, it's
What's
not
your-
that.
What's your character's name?
Saksha Rakshak.
Saksha?
So yeah, Sakshak Rakshak. So all those viewers in India, Pakistan, don't hate me. I'm trying. Okay.
Like Arrested Development, blah blah blah.
Yes, I have it in a tab, and every time you ask me a name, I gotta play it in Google so I remember how to say it.
Sakshik Rakshik?
Yep. Yes, I wrote Vietnamese, but it's actually Hindi. So I was looking it up earlier. I'm like, why can't I find this? Oh, that's because I wrote it down wrong. Yes.
Because I saw it written down in Dustin's email, and I was like, Cha-cha-cha? What was the first name?
Rakshak. Rakshak.
And a Bendigo.
A Rakshak. Scoob. Rakshak.
So feel free to correct anything if I step on something that's part of the game mechanic or the canon and do something wrong. But my character is from Zaofu, and he got interested in the Red Lotus because he believes he was told that there is somebody there he is supposed to protect, and that he has gone to this village to find this person and find who it is. Maybe it's the guy with the missing toes. Who knows?
He clearly needs protection. It's already lost 2 toes.
Yeah, he's only
Need
got
some boots or
he's only got so many left.
Maybe it's the decrepit old man.
it could. Let's hope not. But yeah, he's just he got some sort of motorized vehicle. He got a ride and walked the rest of the way in. He's wearing like a long cloak, and he's got a weird birthmark on the top of his head, where it has mutton chops, and he wears a big utility belt. So think of like, I guess like a Jedi. I hate to say it, to cross things, but with the big belt and the cloak, and except he's got a big birthmark like Mikhail Gorbachev.
What is
So picture Mikhail Gorbachev as a Jedi.
what does Sakshik keep in his belt?
All sorts of trinkets and various items that we will find in game what they are.
But
yeah,
so are motorized vehicles like a thing in this setting?
They are, yeah.
They are now, damn it.
Were they when I was around?
No,
in
they
my
were
day.
not.
Oh, there we go, back in my day.
Back in my day, we had to walk everywhere or take a horse.
Right. Like back in your day, they had like steam-powered warships, but only the Fire Nation had them at the time.
Yeah, the Fire Nation was like the pinnacle of like technology,
Right.
generally, and
Don't let just anybody drive one of these nowadays.
So I guess I would ask so all the different elements has the air, earth, whatever. They it's like the material and the spiritual that they kind of like have to deal with, correct?
the material.
Like they're connecting to the spirit world. Like if you're an airbender or earthbender, you're connecting with the spiritual world.
Got it.
So there's like a
Exactly.
balance in there? Not exactly, no.
It's just there's a whole backstory to it, but I mean
Right.
basically the world is filled with vendors, and
Okay,
somehow
yeah.
somehow in ways that don't seem to be well understood, the 4 elements relate to the balance of the world. And some people believe
Yeah.
if you throw that balance off, that that
Okay.
would be disastrous.
Okay.
And how that interrelates with the spirit world is not super well known.
Okay.
But there are certainly people out there who would say that everything is related. Every single thing is related to every other single thing. That there are differences between different groups of people or between a rock and a person. It's really all just an illusion, man. And we're all
Okay.
scripted one thing.
Yeah.
So, and that includes the spirit world and the material world.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's about right.
But basically, the elements are just that. They don't call it that in the show. They reject this in the show. They're basically just different kinds of magic.
Yep.
Okay. All right. Yeah. So he'd just be walking through town and observing this very rural setting because he's used to the urban environment of Zaofu, and marveling at how these people can live in this society.
Dave.
You see, so as you're walking through, what is Sakshak? Sakshak? Sakshak?
Rakshak.
What is Sakshak?
Daksha Rakshak?
What is Saksha wearing?
Like long, white. Probably, well, it wouldn't be white because he's been walking for a little bit. So kind of like off-white, like robes, and like a big utility belt.
Yeah.
And he's got a little bit of a hair on top, like it's shaved. It's got big mutton chops.
That's right.
His funky birthmark.
So as you're walking through on one of the main drags, you feel a pull on your feel a pull on your robe, and someone says, "Do you have any spare change for an old man?" And looking up at you is somebody who's balding, and they're wearing clothes that look tattered and like they had several patches sewn on them, and when they're wearing a long sleeve green, like kind of a dull green, like a puke green, pea soup green cloak, and
background green.
yeah, dust my background green. Yeah, and they look up at you and they say, "Change? Do you have any spare change, sir? Or bread?"
So it is. Does this guy look any different than anybody else here?
No.
Or does he look exceptionally poor?
He definitely looks among the poor. Among the poor of the people you see, but he doesn't look like he doesn't look particularly exceptional.
I turn and look at him, and then I look around. Is anybody watching me?
Nobody.
I have an audience.
Yeah, nobody appears to be paying you any mind.
Okay. So yeah. I reach in and pull out a couple pieces of hardtack that I've been traveling with and hand it to him.
Oh my! This is delicious. Do you and he just starts scarfing it down. I haven't eaten since this morning. What brings you into town?
I am looking for someone.
Oh. What are you looking for?
Someone, as I say that, I begin to gaze at his feet.
He's wearing flip-flops, and he appears to be missing his pinky toe on one foot and his middle toe on the other.
Okay.
That's gotta
Could
make
be a
it hard to
lot.
flip-flop.
There could be a lot of. You never know. This could be a town have like a rash of mining accidents, and there's a bunch of people missing too.
Everybody's missing toes. It's the opposite of the easy wearing shoes problem. Everybody's missing toes and not wearing shoes.
I'm looking for someone who is a member of the Red Lotus.
Oh, you can't say that very loudly. They're not very popular in these parts. What makes you interested in the Red Lotus?
I believe I have been sent to guard someone. I don't question, I just do.
Very interesting. Well, I think I could help you find what you're looking for. Where are you staying?
I have no arrangements. I have no room.
I'm staying at a house near the outside of town. It's gonna be a little tight, but you're more than welcome to stay. With thanks to your heart attack, I at least can hold until dinner. But we'll have to go find dinner at some point. And he like looks at you, and kind of he looks at you expectantly.
Like I'm not dinner?
Like,
Okay.
yeah, yeah. He looks at you like he's like, oh, you'll have to find dinner, and then he gives you.
Right. Well, maybe I'll procure some food from someone here. I mean, this house is fine. If it provides some shelter, if there's any storms, it'll be nice to get inside away from the elements. But if I need to sleep outside, kind of looks around like I will have to.
Oh, the guards don't. Zaofu's military does, or their soldiers don't really like people just sleeping around, so people kind of tend to duck into any sort of hole they can hide into for the night, lest they get constantly woken up and moved around.
Yes. I'm familiar with these soldiers. Once you don't bother them, they don't bother you.
Well, I wish that were the case. Been a lot of trouble with them recently.
How so?
Well, for a while they've just been For a while they've just been they didn't really bother any of the townsfolk, but after starting about a couple weeks ago, they started demanding food and just taking what they liked or whatever they wanted from the different merchants without question, really.
These same soldiers that have been here the whole time, or they knew?
There's been a refresh of soldiers from one of the other states, along with different commanders in charge. I don't know his name, but he seems to be the command and control type.
Well, has anyone spoken up?
A few, and they've been taken away to the camps. They're posted up in a camp outside of town. But most of the people here aren't trained enough to resist. So they just bend and grin and bear through it.
Well, show me this place that you stay, so we can talk more about this later.
Sure. And he'll get up and start walking and leading you to through the streets and through a couple alleys to the outside of town, or towards the outskirts of town. Ura and Gage. I keep saying Sixon.
That would be too confusing. I don't want to mess with Mike that much.
Yeah. Ura and Gage. You notice somebody walking wearing white robes that passes by you, who is following behind what looks like to be, a beggar or a beggar of sorts. The white robes really stand out to you. This is different than what anybody else is wearing here. Even though they're they're travel stained, it definitely catches your eyes. And I'd say that you would see that the beggar that they're following is you would notice they're missing a toe on each foot. So right now they are just passing you on the street.
So, I mean, I would step forward and like partially step in front of the beggar, and then sort of look, I guess, suspiciously at the man in white robes, and say, "I've been looking for you all day. I think. Pretty sure I have been. Who is this person who's following you around? Are you okay? Do you need help?"
Oh, this is my new friend.
Yeah, you would see that I look very much like a typical Earth Kingdom person. I'm in the, pea green, at least I have like a pea green sort of like vest with a high collar on it. I'm sort of squat. Like, I will say that I'm 5'9", but probably not 5'9". Pretty dark skin, kind of typical of most people in the Earth Kingdom. So, I look like I more or less just fit in. Maybe my clothes are a little bit nicer than what you see on people around here. But like not by much. And basically I've been wearing the same suit of clothes for the entire journey to get here. So it's starting to fray. It looks like it was once a nicer set of clothing than it is currently. Actually, post.
Oh yeah, I didn't get a chance to add your picture to your token, but
So I wasn't a picture. Good chat. So are you okay? Is this man white robe bothering you?
Oh, here's my new friend. My new friend, and he kind of like gestures towards you, towards Sakshik.
And then I don't know who my contact was in Republic City, but I would say I was sent here by whatever his name was. He told me to find you, I think. He described you.
Oh, man, I must get I must be well known in these parts. What?
And I will lean in and I will say, we will overthrow this government.
I think you should come
Whisper
with.
in that his ear.
I think you should come with me.
I'd say when he said like we will have to find dinner, I initially thought that might be like a code phrase, and our contact just didn't give us like the counter phrase. Like we're supposed to say like ravens do not boil quickly or something that would identify it.
Well, you should come with me. I think I can help you.
All right.
And what about you, sir? And he like looks around. He looks around, because I imagine Ura is also probably staring at him.
I don't know if I would have been given any indication as to whether or not I needed to approach him secretly or privately. So I probably, being an old man, I'd probably stick out quite a bit because I don't think I've like done much as far as like getting new clothes. Just mended the ones that I had as best as possible. So it's just Fire Nation styled for sure, but like kind of dirty patchwork a little bit.
And also like very vintage.
Yeah, yes, old Fire Nation, but like the red has faded off some, or has just like been dirtied over, or like sun dyed, right?
Okay.
From walking, just every day.
You look like you stepped out of time. Are you lost? Nobody's worn that. I've never seen that being worn, to be honest.
I like to call it old school. Back in my day, this is what everyone wore.
In Republic City, that's what the hipsters wear today. Good style again.
Hipsters? What? I oughta?
Yeah, I'd approach, I would definitely envision a long staff that I sort of use as a walking stick. But, as necessary, we'll hit somebody with it. But yeah, I'd just approach with that.
2 missing toes. Just the one I was looking for.
Oh, what can I help you with?
Somebody said you could help make the world right again.
You must come with me, all of you, before we start attracting notice. As he like looks around, and he darts his gaze around, and then says, "Okay, follow me."
So is your staff made of wood?
Yeah.
I would probably take a close look at the staff when I realize he's using it to walk, just to determine whether or not it's secretly a glider, and then I would probably realize it's not.
Definitely not.
What you looking at? It's my walking stick.
I've recently been with a bunch of people who also use walking sticks. Theirs are a bit different than yours, though, so I thought maybe you were one of them.
How would you change a walking stick? Just use it for walking.
Gonna start walking, following this guy.
Some walking sticks conceal other things in them.
Tricksy types. I prefer to be a little more flagrant.
You certainly stand out.
Personal style.
And I will look around at all the poor people and I will say, isn't it terrible what the Earth Kingdom is doing to these poor people? Forcing them to labor in the mines, forcing them to pay their taxes to their oppressors. We will liberate them.
I sure hope so. We are tirelessly at work, doing what we can, but the forces of corruption are strong, and it takes a unified front to fully defy them and turn things right again.
But we should make it somewhere private and we can discuss this fully. I'm eager to get the revolution underway.
He nods and continues on. So you navigate through the streets. You come to this house. It is a squat stone house. It looks a lot, like any of the others that you've seen. It's got one window and a doorway, and he leads you inside. And there's one main room with another doorway that goes to a room in the back. And he leads you inside to the main room, and he looks down at your feet and he says, "Make sure to wipe your feet off. It's dirty out there. Just keep the floors clean." And he kicks off his sandals, he kicks off his sandals, and continues to walk, ushering you into the back room.
So yeah, I will, being from the Earth Kingdom, I imagine not that many people are all that concerned about dirt getting into their houses, but nonetheless, I will dutifully wipe my feet. I do not remove my shoes, however, I just wipe my feet.
So he takes his shoes off. You keep your shoes on. How about the other? What do you do with your shoes?
I reach into one of my pouches on my belt and pull out a brush and brush my boots off and then put it back.
But you keep the shoes on.
Correct.
Yeah, shoes on. And just like use my staff to beat the dirt off.
Yeah, sure. I assume there's like a mat to wipe my shoes on.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it's just wiping my shoes in the dirt and then
the room is simply adorned. There's a rug and some chairs and a desk. But yeah, there'd be a mat that you could wipe shoes on.
Cake the mat and the dirt, just put the dirt over here, like the excess dirt over here, and then I can wipe the rest off.
So I mean, looking around, like I said, this is the Earth Kingdom. People don't care as much about dirt.
Mm-hmm.
Is this place like actually, do the floors look like they're dirty? What I'm trying to assess really is this guy an earthbender who could easily sweep all the dirt out of this place or not?
The floors do not appear to be dirty at all. They appear to be pretty spick and span. Um, but you see him in the back room. He begins begins lighting some candles. You step in. You would step when you step inside. You notice that there aren't any windows. Once everybody gets inside, he closes the door. So the door it's an open doorway, and a block of earth moves up to fill the doorway. As he earth bends it mostly closed. He leaves a gap so that air can get out and there can be some breathing.
But the ooze will get in to attack us all.
The what?
The ooze. It's a reference from Mike's game.
Yeah. And he turns and you see him you see him kind of shining in this candlelight. So you're here to, and he changes his voice. So you're here to, so you've been sent, I'm assuming you're interested in joining the Red Lotus.
I am.
Yes.
I've seen firsthand the injustice that governments impose on people in this world and the trouble they create with the spirits. I heard on my way here that there are attacks by spirits on people. I'm sure the government is somehow behind it.
I would not be surprised. That's something that we're actively looking into. I wish I could. I wish I had more information to share on that, but various members of the organization are currently on the job, trying to understand what has been agitating these spirits. But based on the way that I've seen, based on what I've seen with how governments have generally responded to spirits here and in Republic City, I wouldn't be surprised in the least if this is just a reaction to how they've been treated.
If they're riled up, safe to say it was somebody who did it.
Spirits
In my experience.
you are absolutely right. Spirits are generally peaceful. There are very few just dark spirits.
I have run afoul in my day.
Cody might know better than most. There are plenty of dark spirits. Ew.
They exist. They just don't come through.
That's.
Normally gotta rile them up.
How do you? Have you interacted with them? Have you been to any of the? Have you visited any of the spirit portals?
Spirit portal. Like
Yes,
people purposely open them.
Yes, there are three gateways between three long-standing gateways between our world and the spirit world that have been reopened within the past few years. One in each pole, and then one in Republic City.
No, I can't say I went in there.
Oof.
No, I think I just made one angry. It's been a while.
Well, I hope you don't continue to make them angry, and that this is Yeah, I hope that your luck doesn't continue as far as that goes.
Hey, well, I'll be displaced another 100 years.
Displaced 100 years. What does that mean?
Don't you worry about that.
Look, the Red Lotus can use all the help they can get. Um, there's it's not easy being. I'm gonna be first. I'm gonna be frank with you. It's not easy being a part of this organization. Um, the Our leader is imprisoned after attempting to kill the Avatar, and while many of the organization feels that was the appropriate action, it has brought an intense scrutiny and made operating very difficult. So if you join, you must use the utmost secrecy and discretion, especially around government officials or people who may be sympathetic to government officials. It's because of this that we tend to operate in a decentralized manner.
So what is the plan? Are we gonna liberate this village?
This village, well, I'd love to. This village does need help. There's a commander, a sergeant rather, who recently moved in about 2 weeks ago, named Gun Shah, and he is among other things, he's been abusing his authority. Whether I can't tell. I'm not able to tell whether he is truly dangerous or if he's just some upstart who's gotten too big for his britches. But either way, he's commanded the soldiers to dispose of any spirits that they see. So you might see. So there, if you've noticed, there haven't been any spirits in the town, which you would occasionally see. You'd occasionally see a few that would fly through, but they've been attacked recklessly, and you don't see them anymore. In addition, his style of leadership is somewhat questionable, and I'm not 100% clear what's going on. But the soldiers have also started taking food from merchants throughout the town, without pay, of course. And it's left a lot of people starving. So,
Can he be reasoned with, or do we need to take a more forceful approach to removing him?
he hasn't really made much of an appearance. He tends to delegate all the dirty work to his subordinates. So he may be able to be reasoned with, but from what I've heard in conversation I've picked up from other soldiers, he seems to be fairly hard-nosed and strict. So
I should let you know I was Earth Kingdom military myself once. I was before I discovered I was an airbender. Then, when that happened, I was moved into a higher position to train other new airbenders to form the first airbending regiment. And then the Avatar attacked and everything changed. Suddenly, there were no more Earthbenders left in the Earth Kingdom. And the ones that were there were in hiding and no longer working for the government. But I do know that most soldiers are essentially just dupes of the government themselves. They don't know any better. It was the only option I had growing up to earn a living. So I suspect most of the members of the military could be shown the error of their ways, although it also contains its fair share of corruption. I'd rather not have to kill this sergeant if we don't have to. I'm wondering how the other two are reacting. Like, I left immediately too. Are we murdering this guy? And it doesn't even seem like Dr. Chachad is here to be part of the Red Lotus so much.
I feel like Ura would just be listening, taking things in, trying not to be quite so bold, listening to the whole plan, which he would then ask about. What exactly is the plan?
Well,
Do we go straight for the head? Do we have to take out his lackeys first?
well, we need to figure out. I think he's corrupt. And if your experience shows that corruption, that he could be shown the error of his ways, I think it would be worth at least trying to have a conversation. But I don't expect it to go well. But at the very least, at the very least, we need him to stop it, waging war against the spirits, and to have his soldiers stop attacking the townsfolk and just taking things.
I agree, those are both very noble goals. I guess it's just a question of how best to do it. Obviously, if you go to a thief and tell him, please stop stealing, he's not going to. Maybe we can rally the townsfolk and have an uprising and overthrow this sergeant.
Yes, did he personally set this order? Or is this the men acting freely? As if they have no one supervising. You said nobody has seen him.
From the bits of conversation I've heard, while sitting out in the square, it sounds like this has been orders that have come directly from him. But Miller, he's like, and he's like, military types, and if some of them can get away with some debauchery, they'll happily take the chance to do it.
Some of them, yes. There should be some good men in there. We just gotta get them to speak up.
Sure, if we could get some of the soldiers to back the townsfolk in the uprising, the sergeant would be much more likely to have to listen. Of course, he may just try to, kill all people internally who are opposing him.
guess that's where we come in. You seem like a capable sort. What about you? You got any helpful skills in this situation?
Who are you pointing to?
Well, there was a white robe person, right? They
Yes.
come with us? Yeah.
I'm just listening to everything with my arms folded, hoping that this old man is not the one I gotta protect. Just trying to figure out like where my assignment is. Who do I need to guard then? Is this one in prison? Is it you?
Oh, I don't need any. I appreciate the offer, but I'm quite capable on my own. The one you need to guard has been taken to the camps.
What camps?
The Zaofu soldiers set up a camp outside of town. It is, they don't sleep in the town. They generally stay in their own accommodations. And they've taken some of the townsfolk who have spoken out and resisted their efforts have been hauled away.
Well, that changes my view of things a bit. If they're already hauling away people who are dissenting, then we should probably just murder them. They're not going to be open to reason if they're shutting down people who are trying to reason with them already.
I mean, unless they're truly dissenting and not trying to reason at all. We should ask some questions in town.
Are there any town leaders we could speak to who seem like they would be opening to challenging the military? I mean, I hate to say it, but would it be profitable to try to contact the superiors of this sergeant, even if they're, not located in town? It may be that this sergeant is corrupt, but is not necessarily acting on behalf of higher-ups who are corrupt. They may be unaware of what's going on in this town. It's fairly low profile.
That's a good idea.
Some even say that the Bay Fox may not need to be put to death when the revolution comes. That sure, they're wealthy and out of touch with the people, but that they might be possibly re-educated.
Yeah, there might. I'm not sure what. I'm not sure what. I'm not sure whether whether Gunshaw's commanding officer is aware directly of what he's doing. But he hasn't made any move to attempt to stop or change anything, so he could be completely unaware.
If we're going to cut the corruption off at the head, we do need to find out who is really the head. If the sergeant superior is corrupt, then even if we were to take out the sergeant, he'll just be replaced by somebody else that the leader can corrupt directly.
That's true.
Well, seems like we gotta go find ourselves a lackey and start some questioning.
I can see if I can find out more information about what the relationship might be between Gunshaw and his commanding officer, maybe. if you can go and if you can find out, if you can find, if you can find a way to, sorry, I'm having a brain fart. Oh, hold on a sec. This is, turn that off. This light is very hot.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's one of the bad things about that stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And maybe it's good that it didn't come with like a little plastic diffuser for it to burn.
Yeah.
Not a plastic one. Yeah, nice one.
Yeah.
Turn it away. Yeah, turn it at the wall. Probably your best bet.
Yeah, I will do that. I just got it today, so it's been, this was like the practice run. The maiden
I've been
voyage.
slowly sunburning for this game.
Pretty much. I'm like sweating. I can see if I can. I'm gonna see. I can see if I can find what the true source of corruption is, as far as like what the relationship is between the commanding officer and how he may know. If you can find a way to either talk to Gunshaw or find out why he started attacking spirits. That'd be at least be helpful to know, because this might be, to your point, if this is something that his if this is something that is local, if this is something that is localized to this village, isn't just localized to this village, there might be long-standing orders across the Earth Kingdom to attack spirits.
In our collective travels to get here, would we have heard about spirits attacking people like far and wide, or is it something we've only heard about locally?
You would have heard like that dark spirits are attacking like far and wide, like across the Earth Kingdom.
We also have to come up with a plan to get all of the dissenters out of whatever trap that they're currently in. I don't know if they're imprisoned or being forced to work.
I don't. I'm sure they are not just sitting idly while imprisoned. I'm sure there is some sort of labor involved. I mean, there is an iron ore mine here that is one of the main sources for steel for the Zaofu royalty and Zaofu, and they need somebody to mine it.
Every prisoner we can free is a potential Red Lotus member, now that they've experienced the suppression firsthand.
This would be great. I would be happy to welcome you all into the Red Lotus, if you can free this village from the tyranny of Gunshaw, and if we can get more members to boot, well, that would make our cause even stronger.
It would also draw more attention to you.
We'll have to find a place. They may, if they are interested in joining, we might have to move them elsewhere in order to avoid attention.
Yeah, that's a good point. I guess if we free them and they just stay here in the village, they might be recaptured again if the military moves back in or attempts to retaliate. Especially since I don't think it's going to be entirely peaceful freeing them in the first place. Is there someone in town who we could trust, who would have more information on the military, or even just on how dissatisfied the people here are, who could help us organize them if we need to fight the military off, chase them out of this town?
Well, there's a local earthbender. There's an earthbending school nearby. Or there's an earthbending school in town. Master Puhan leads that school. I'll type that in the chat. Over here. Oh, I'll type it in this chat. Master Puhan leads that school, and while he is not a member of the Red Lotus and would not be seen. It doesn't have a favorable disposition. He is in the know, and he is not happy with. He'd probably be the most willing to help and the most connected.
We shouldn't discuss the Red Lotus with him, but it may be worth contacting him just to determine how much support we might get if push comes to shove. As for figuring out why they're attacking spirits, I'm not sure who to speak to about that exactly. I mean, we could try to capture one of the local guards and interrogate them, but they frequently wouldn't know any more than they need to about a situation.
We may not
If we
need
could,
to capture. Might just be able to ask who gave the order. Who could we talk to ask more questions about it?
That's a really good point. Then maybe we don't need to abduct someone.
Indeed. I like your passion, son. I like your passion. You'd make a good Fire Nation soldier.
My eyes would probably narrow it down a bit. But barring that, if we can't find information from the local soldiers, then we might need to attempt to infiltrate their camp, see if we can locate some of their orders. They must be sending written orders back and forth. Some of them might discuss this, whatever it is that they're doing with the spirits. Unless it's just completely all in the minds of this Sergeant Gunshot. It's Gunshot, right? Gunshot?
Yeah, Gunshot. I will type that too. Looking through the camp, getting into the camp and interrogating, either and getting a hand on some orders, because they do have to communicate, and that seems reasonable. Or if any of you know, happen to know any, are close with any of the soldiers, and they may be willing to tell you a bit more, or willing to talk a little bit more freely, they could maybe have a better chance of truthfully answering you. But yeah, I suspect if you just try to abduct a soldier, that they're not going to talk, or they're going to tell you false information.
Yeah, unfortunately, I've been out of the military now for more than 5 years, so, or at least not in contact with anyone in the military for more than 5 years, other than random administrators here and there. So I doubt any of the soldiers in this area of the country would be anyone that I would know. What about you, Sakchuk? You're in fancy robes.
I don't know any of the soldiers here.
But you look, given the wealth you seem to display, you seem like you're probably highly placed in Zaofu. You have any authority you can wave under their noses to get them to talk?
No, I don't have any authority, but the power of persuasion would work. Somebody knows something, we should find out.
Only
So
way to
yeah,
find
this
out
is
start asking.
an out of character question.
Yeah.
What my character is thinking about right now is there some way, like, obviously we can clean up Sakcha's robe. Is there some, like, fake forged credential that we could get Sakcha so that they think he's like an important government official, so that we can then trick them into answering his questions? Is that a possibility, or I don't know, like, how they would identify government officials? Like in the show, I know they have passports because they had to show passports, and like Toph Fei-Fong's passport got her like all sorts of free perks because her family was so famous.
Yeah.
So what would it take to fake fancy lad here being an important person that they have to bounce straight to?
Yeah, so I would say how that would work mechanically is that you guys could, make your preparations, to clean up, knock the dirt off the robes, and try to draw up some official looking documentation. And I would think the way I would run that is that would be a push your luck move, as you trying to like convince or like use that to get information or to do some action.
I mean, I agree. It sounds like push your luck makes sense. Ultimately, it will also then come down to having to make a trick roll at some point, I assume. But I mean, I am happy to do push your luck.
Yeah, it could be both.
I mean, I'm better at push your luck than a trick.
Yeah.
I'm okay at either one though. I mean, I am not. My character is not like a forger by background. It's not what he was trained to do. But I was spending time, with the Air Nation people and sort of relaying everything that I knew back to the Earth Kingdom people. So presumably, I have some understanding of espionage.
Yeah. It makes sense.
Where's push your luck and trick? Is that specifically yours? Is that in everybody's skill?
That's
Everybody's basic techniques.
yeah.
It's on that cheat sheet.
Yeah.
The basic moves. Push your luck and trick.
Yeah,
Okay,
and
I
I
see.
think you're right. I think trick would be, both could work, but I think trick probably would be more appropriate since it is actually just tricking. the intent.
Well,
Um,
if it's trick, I'm in a negative.
But I'm not. Well, I guess that in the end, though, you're the person who'd be speaking to them. I might be the person creating the fake ID.
Yeah, so I think the way we could make that work, or the way that we could roll that, is that if you're making if you're making the fake ID, uh, you can use like the help move to give a +1 on his trick.
Am I allowed to use a playbook? No, I guess like a move out of that I have specifically to me, because I have one that would actually help.
Yeah, you should be able to.
Okay.
What
I just have to observe them. I don't know forever, for how long, but
So what's the move? What's the technique?
suspicious mind, not suspicious, not the song, the
it's so.
Or actually observing the guards, the soldiers when you came in, so.
yeah, I mean, yeah, I could
But
like
maybe-
find
maybe
one
you would have to-
specifically
Right.
and then spend a little time just watching them.
Yeah, yeah, that could work.
Okay.
Yeah, so then you could use suspicious. You could use that to basically, yeah, find out kind of true. Yeah, get more truthful, like definitely truthful answers to those. That definitely works.
So how would you, because I don't know what that move is, so presumably you could just explain to us what your plan is. Because I'm talking about forging documents and freely admit, I mean, I'm not a forger, but I could try.
Well, I think we would probably still need that, because I don't think I could just go up there and ask them random questions. So that might help. I might be able to just flash something. You know, if I find somebody who, let's say, is not somebody low ranking, if I just flash some credentials, they may just take that for granted and not question it. And then just answer however many questions I can get out of them, like 1 or 2. And I can get some kind of answer. But, like, I would do that and then probably sit and observe them for, I don't know, 30 minutes, an hour. And then at some point approach them and ask them, you know, flash the credentials and say, I'm the muckety muck from wherever. I have a few questions.
Okay, so yeah, I definitely would take the help action then, and I'll mark the 1 fatigue that requires to create a sort of fake credential for him.
All right. So you're
that
gonna
gives you a +1 on whatever roll you have to make.
on your focus roll. So you're gonna. Your plan is to flash your credentials. If I understand correctly, your plan is to flash your credentials to a low ranking soldier.
Yeah,
And then
I'm thinking
then like
I'm thinking my character would probably know ranks of the military since he's been around them and seen them, so he'd have some idea. So he would find somebody like, I can't, I don't want like the lowest private, but maybe somebody's been in at least, because somebody low is not going to know anything, but just high enough that they're not, that they've probably been around and they probably know some information. And then just kind of flash some credentials. I'm going to say I'm such and such, and then ask them a couple questions, however many I get out of it, whether it's one or two.
Yeah, that works. So, we can do that. If that's good with everybody, then I'd say we could just jump to that scene. Yeah, we could just jump straight to that scene.
I just want to know what question am I asking? What one or two questions I just need to know? Because I might do good on the roll and ask 2 questions and be like, we didn't want to know that, you dumbass.
We want to know why they are attacking spirits.
Okay, why are they? Okay.
I'm not sure what the second question we want is.
You want to know why they're attacking spirits, and you want to know why are they robbing? Why are they taking food from the townspeople? And like why are they lashing out at the townsfolk?
Why are they robbing the townsfolk? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Should I be there, or do I make it more difficult?
Are you going to assist in some way?
I don't know what I could do.
I mean, I look like a normal Earth Kingdom person anyway, so, I definitely would be there trying to, affect the stance of like some sort of servant to this high government official.
I definitely recognize I stick out. Perhaps I'm a bodyguard.
I say this with the greatest respect. I don't know that you would have a bodyguard that's quite as distinguished as you. You might be able to come, however, and just, stick to the shadows in case we need backup. Have you shared actually, you haven't even shared that you're like a firebender, so I don't even know that you're useful for anything. At this point, this could just be some old man.
Just what I want.
Good. Maybe just come, we may need your wisdom, but if you could just hang back, remain, unobtrusive so that nobody thinks that you're with us, that may be best. I mean, you're very stylish, at least by hipster Republic City standards. Maybe you could be his fashion consultant.
I would never put him in that. Let us go!
All right. I think that's a good it's a good time for a 5-minute break. I'm gonna get some more water.
Okay.
Okay.
Yep.
Sounds good.
All right. All of you, we're gonna cut to. You are. So I guess. Sakshik. Sakshik. Where would you? So like you've seen like the guards. You've seen like soldiers patrolling down the road. Where would you imagine that you would be trying to like go talk to, like go flash your credentials at them?
I guess I would try to find either one or two that was guarding maybe like some storage bins or, you know, guarding something. You know, maybe they've got carts or something. I mean, I imagine. I mean, obviously they're patrolling, but I imagine there's one or two that just are like guarding something, and I would watch them as maybe um, I would stand near one of the locals as they were doing some kind of uh, work. I don't know, like maybe I don't know if they're since it's a mining town, they might be doing something related to that. Maybe not like heavy mining, but you know, maybe they're working on some tools like that go into the mine or something. So I'd
Yeah.
be like standing there acting like I'm watching them, but I'm not. I'm just watching the guard, and maybe there's two of them, and watching their patterns. And when the one I'm watching, the other one like leaves because eventually they're gonna have to use the bathroom,
Right.
I would go up and talk to them.
Okay. So yeah, there is. So yeah, we're gonna. I'd say that as you're walking, you walk through town and you come to a building. It's like another squat stone structure. This one has a bit of a wider door, kind of like double door in size, and you see two guards posted outside it. Inside, it looks like it's like stacked with crates, with various crates and parchment, um, and barrels and such. Outside of this structure, you see leaned up on the side of it, or there's a table pushed against the side, and you see a couple people that look like they're working on tools, fixing and mending some pickaxes. So yeah, after about 10 minutes of watching them, one of them would go away. During that 10 minutes, you see them. They're not like standing. They're alert, but they're kind of they're relaxed. They don't appear to be like on high guard, or they don't look like
Right.
they're ready to cause trouble. They look like they're just
Right.
waiting their post out.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, one of them goes and walks away to the south down the street.
Okay. So I would take my leave of the group that was working on the tools. I'm standing there. I'm sure at one point I've reached into my pouch and pulled out like some kind of tool and handed it to one of the guys because he was trying to fix something. And it's.
Oh, thanks, man. I needed that.
Oh yes. And then just watching them and get my tool back, and then walk over to this one guard. Should I roll first or?
So you've watched. So I'd say like when you the text is like when you watch a person carefully to figure them out, like you're
Right.
focusing on them. So I would imagine that before you, if I'm interpreting this correctly, I imagine that you roll, because like this is like you've been figuring them out, and then like
Yeah.
then you get to like ask these questions when you're interacting.
Okay.
I have two quick questions. One, what time of day is it now? Like, I'm not sure what to picture, whether it's nighttime or how I'm supposed to picture this in my head. And then the other is not so much a question. I would just say that the credentials that I made for you identify you as Assistant Minister of Technology.
Okay. Good, because I was about to come up with something completely different.
I mean, if you wanted to pick a title, I'm sure I would have put that on there.
I like that. I think that works.
Assistant Minister.
I mean, I would just go by the fact people wear a tool belt. So presumably,
Yeah.
you'll still be wearing a tool belt.
Yeah.
So yeah, roll focus, and you get a +1.
Okay. So do I roll these dice?
Yep.
Okay.
So yeah, next to the whatever the technique is, there should be like a little pair of dice that you can click
Yeah.
on. Also, I didn't hear. Is it like day or night?
Yeah,
or...
this is early afternoon.
Okay.
Focus. So, okay, so I do get a +1 bonus from Kurt helping, yeah?
Yes,
Yeah.
you do.
Okay. 9.
10.
12. No?
Oh yeah. You're right. You.
Okay, so it, oh, I see, it added, okay.
Yeah,
I
nice.
feel totally confident.
Yeah, so with that, you get 2 hold, 2 hold, and you can ask 2 of the questions.
So I walk over there confidently and just take this, like, I'm thinking it looks like a passport or something. Kind of flash it in front of this guy. I'm the Assistant Minister of Technology, appointed by Lu Baifeng.
Oh. Hello, Assistant Minister, sir. This is, are you here for an inspection?
I ask questions, you do not.
Oh, of course.
I look him over, I'm checking his uniform.
Yeah, he appears to be like a private, like a kind of a grunt soldier. So.
I have questions, you shall answer them.
Understood, sir.
That is Assistant Minister, but
Understood, Assistant Minister,
Very good.
sir.
why are you attacking spirits here?
We've been commanded to by Sergeant Gunshaw, sir.
Oh, Sergeant Gunshaw.
Yes, he's in charge of the he's in charge of our military operation in this area.
And why are you taking these items from the townsfolks? Their food and other things.
Food is scarce, sir. No doubt you've heard about the spirit. You've heard of all the rumors about the spirit attacks across the Earth Kingdom, and it's affected other farming communities, and it's made food scarcer.
Is this another order from your Sergeant Gunshaw?
No, the soldiers are just afraid.
So the soldiers are doing it on their own?
Yes. They're hungry. Rations have been reduced. We've been told it's necessary, but some believe it's just some believe that the government, some believe that the commanding officers are just taking it for themselves. That they don't have the best interests of the soldiers in mind.
So they don't have your best interest in mind, is that what you're saying?
I don't believe that. I'm just saying that's what some people believe. I follow orders and I do as I'm told.
You have answered my question sufficiently. I will report to Sergeant Gunshaw that you've done an outstanding job. and maybe your provisions will be increased.
Thank you, Assistant Minister, sir.
Maybe go about your business. And I turn and walk away.
He continues to slouch.
Well, you can't say, you can't help everything.
And tuck your shirt in.
He's not Minister of Posture.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
So I return back to the group and tell them that spirits, they're attacking the spirits on order from Sergeant Gunshaw, and they are robbing the townsfolk because they believe that the senior leadership is hoarding the food and they are hungry.
Seems like this gunshot doesn't have a good hold on his men. Not much of a leader.
That does sound like that's probably what's going on. Although I hate to say it, I do wonder whether or not there are people in this village that are hoarding food. The military can be corrupt, but also correct.
Perhaps they're hoarding the food because they started stealing it from them. It's
That's
a vicious
possible, too.
cycle. Clearly, some communication between these two parties must happen. Only hurting each other, them and themselves.
But it does sound as though if we were to, in some way, neutralize Gunshot, that they might stop attacking the spirits at least. The pilfering of food seems like it might be a separate issue that we'd have to deal with on our own.
We should find where this gunshot is.
He's probably in their camp. And he probably doesn't leave it if nobody's seen him.
Then we will need to infiltrate it.
Shouldn't be too hard. You are the Assistant Minister of Technology. But we should probably, yeah, we should probably also find food and then figure out where the camp is.
So when you are going to find food, are you looking for, like food for yourself, or food to?
Well, technically, I was forgetting the sequence of events, and it was actually Sakcha who was told that he, or at least had the hint made to him that he had to find food.
Yes. Yeah.
We don't want to piss off our Red Lotus leader by not providing him with the meal he apparently expects. Though I imagine I'm basically broke at this point. Like, whatever money I had was probably mostly spent getting here.
I absolutely imagined I had like a fox hanging from my belt. Like it's one I had trapped and killed to be eaten later.
Oh, I thought you were going to say like 100 years. It's just a skull. It's just some bones there now.
There's good marrow in those bones.
Keeps you spry. It's the bite sharp.
I just figured I caught one on the way here.
So there, yeah, you could. I mean, yeah, you could catch. So you have a fox on your. You have a foxtail.
Just
He was
imagine
a
I had
whole
caught
fox.
a fox,
Oh.
like caught, trapped, and killed to be eaten later. A fox.
That works.
I just like I was just on in my head. I never said it out loud, but it was definitely in my head. Because if he was gonna talk to me about dinner, I was like, I got a fox.
What does the fox say? Dinner.
um,
Well, I'd be super impressed. I would say outright, it's impressive that you know how to catch a fox. I wouldn't have the first idea how to do that. Hopefully, if there's time, maybe you could, teach me how you trapped it.
You don't live as long as I do without learning a few skills. I'll teach you, sonny.
So I'd be pleased with that.
I've got more. I've got probably enough hardtack for the evening. Probably for me and somebody else.
um, yeah,
We could find the guards' camp and then liberate some of the food that they've stolen.
It would be an excellent idea.
yeah, that works. So do you guys want to head to the camp then? The camp to get food and either live, and check it out, or live and check it out, or try
That
to.
makes sense to me.
Okay. Are you going? Yeah. So we can cut to the camp. So, you would see the guards, going north out of town as they change their shifts as they're going back to their tents and their home base. You'd follow it north for about half a mile, and you come across a series of like a bunch of tents. They're set up in orderly fashion in rows, but it appears that it appears it appears to be consistent with a military camp in that it's kind of well structured, where there are sleeping tents in one area, and then there is like a food and mess hall in another, like an eating area, and latrine pits are well away from the camp.
They burning shit.
Yeah, maybe. I know it doesn't smell like they're burning shit,
Okay.
which is not hasn't gotten that bad yet. But yeah, as far as the camp goes, I would say you if you're kind of walking by, it's not far off the road. So like you'd be able to see a good chunk of the tents. Like they're not really trying to hide or like necessarily take up a strategic position here. So you'd see guards and soldiers like walking around, and you'd count somewhere around 30, like in the camp itself. Some of them are most of them are just kind of sitting around, appear to be doing rest activities. Some of them are cooking. Some of them are, it's not just soldiers. It's like the whole kind of camp operations.
A support group there,
Yeah, so soldiers, specialists. You see some tradespeople. You'd say some people fixing armor, fixing weapons, cooking,
Yeah.
Private sector.
contractors.
Get paid 3 times as much as soldiers. Yeah.
So yeah, you'd see like 30 people around. You'd count about 30 people in addition to like total, including kind of all of the camp support, all the support staff.
Do we see any sign of the people they've imprisoned and taken into the camp?
You don't necessarily you don't necessarily see any tents that like stick out that would say here are where the prisoners are stored. There doesn't appear to be any tents that are like more heavily guarded or that are like guarded specifically either.
And there's no sort of like fencing around this camp?
No. No, it's an open camp plan.
So do we want to go in and just say that the assistant minister here is conducting an inspection? Do we have some other plan?
Or should we just find someone and have us direct us straight to Sergeant Gunshaw? Maybe we can get in there with him, the 3 of us, and him.
That's an idea. I had imagined, since they said nobody has seen him, that he doesn't really accept many visitors, but I could be wrong.
Maybe they'll accept a minister.
Right, that's what I was thinking. And he'd be more likely to talk to you, motioning at Sacha, than he would some, random townsfolk.
Okay. I'm going to, I guess, I'm going to attempt to do my observation again. I don't know if you can do that more than once.
Yeah. Yeah, there isn't like a limit on it.
Again, probably find. So you said that the camp is like right outside the town, and there's no fence around it, and they're just kind of like, that's where they're all hanging out.
Yep.
So I'm going to find the closest villager to the camp. Hopefully they're no more than 25 yards away.
Okay. Yeah.
And we're going to go hang out with them and observe whomever is in that group. I'm trying to find somebody who is maybe working on tools, or I'm trying to avoid any of the guards. Maybe somebody who's doing more some kind of task like that, doing some kind of work.
Yeah. You see someone that's standing, a couple people that are standing about 30 feet away from camp with shovels, and they're digging.
Okay.
Yeah, they appear to be digging into the ground and some
Okay.
holes.
Yeah, so I can imagine we're hanging out in the back of this villager's house. Of course, I give him some hardtack as a gracious gesture for us just hanging out. I'll let the other 2 do the chit-chat, and as I watch.
So we're in a house then, whose house have we barged into?
I wouldn't imagine we barged into somebody's house. We're probably I'm thinking a squat little hut that we kind of walked around, and we went to the back. And if we didn't see anybody, maybe we knock on the door and be like, hey.
Okay.
I just like to imagine that you flash your credentials push some hardtack in their hands and just walk past them so wordlessly.
So I was thinking that, so like this camp is about a half mile outside of town. And so I was thinking that you were gonna like try to talk to like one of like the camp support, like the townspeople that have been roped into supporting the camp. At least that's what I was picturing in my head.
So here's what we can do. While you observe, you basically can stand there wordlessly, and I, as your servant, can ask questions about why they're digging this ditch. Why aren't real earthbenders creating this ditch? And I will, make nitpicky comments about, all the while saying that, the minister is simply too good to speak to the likes of lowly workmen. So he has asked me to ask his questions for the official report on the state of technology here in, forget the name of the town.
Naopi.
Naopi. And the military camp outside of it. So I'm going to just sort of ask questions of these workers about like what it is they're doing and that sort of thing. Basically just to cover the fact that he wanted to get close enough to stare at the camp itself and is not really doing any interacting with these people.
Okay.
And all the while, I'm sort of faking being almost afraid, like at least very apprehensive about displeasing the assistant minister.
As you should.
All right, so they turn to you and stop digging, and they're like, and say, where's the assistant minister?
And I will, deferentially bow in the direction of Satcha.
Oh.
He's probably not even looking at the ditch because he's staring at the camp.
Yes.
He is far too highborn to deal with lowly things like ditch digging. But ultimately, we know that the Royal Palace will want to know about even these minor details, so they must go in the report.
It sounds like you're trying to use a trick here.
Sure.
So, I'm trying to like kind of pull a fast one on them. So, why don't you roll for creativity? There you go. So you get to pick two between. Between they stumble and take one forward. I guess I'll just post it.
Yeah, I mean, I have it here in front of me. So I would definitely think they overcommit and they are deceived for some time. I'm kind of stalling to give him time to just observe, and not have these people like try to chase us away. So, but definitely they overcommit and are deceived for some time, and they act foolishly. By which I mean that they take me seriously and they start answering my questions earnestly, even I don't really care about why they're digging the ditch. I would ask them why they're digging the ditch, like what it's for.
Oh, this is yeah. So they straighten up because they were slouching. They straighten up.
Minister of posture now. You can add that.
Yep.
We can add that to the ID when we get back.
Yep.
They say, oh,
I was afraid that they were going to be like, these are the latrines.
Yeah, these are these are new latrines actually.
Brand new shitters.
Yeah,
Yeah,
the other ones
I'm
are
sure.
the other ones are getting full, and why not earthbenders? Well, they're off too busy doing other things. those earthbenders tend to be, not out here. This is, they're away doing other things.
So yeah, it's like I said, this is to buy time. So I'm going to just start making up questions as I go. Like, how deep do they have to dig the latrine? How many square feet of or cubic feet of dirt do they believe they're clearing every minute?
Oh, this is we're pushing. I think we're pushing at least 2 square feet a minute. At least we're trying to. Our record is 3. But we've been told if we can, we've been told if we can break 3.5, we're gonna get an extra cut of rations, which, you know, Gihu here and I are we're trying our best. But
Yeah, and then I will do like the shovel inspection
Oh, yeah.
because we'll have to
Legendary
this,
shovel inspection.
all of this has to go into the report. So I will begin like closely examining the shovels, then handing them back. I will tell them, they can continue working while we, ask our questions.
Oh, okay.
But that is it. I'm just they don't know that I'm wasting their time, but I'm wasting their time.
Well, I'm sure I'm sure the gunshot can, sergeant can answer whatever questions you need. He of course he would, he wouldn't question a minister.
Well, the assistant minister does need to see the work being done himself, so that when the report is done, he can verify that everything in it is correct. He can't merely take the word of people without actually inspecting the works being done. But this is all very helpful. I'm sure ultimately the Royal Palace will be very appreciative of your taking the time to answer our questions.
I hope. Can you see if you can do what you can to get some extra rations for Gihu and I?
And then I will fearfully look at the assistant minister and say, I'm not sure if the assistant minister will allow me to do that, but if an opportunity arises, I will. We're going to have to talk to Sergeant Gunshaw next. Which tent is he in?
Oh, he's in the tent with the red door, the red flaps. He's just across the way from the from where a few of the townsfolk have been detained. Yeah, they're at the tent across.
Do I see where he's talking about?
Yeah, he'll gesture down, and you see kind of at the other end of camp. You can kind of make out a tent with a red door.
Yeah, but specifically where the people who are being detained are being kept.
You don't see like people being detained. They're in a.
He said
they're in a
he said
tent.
that Shaw was across from the people being detained.
Yeah. So yeah, you would see like a tent in that direction. Like amongst all the tents, but you from here you wouldn't be able to tell which tent it is exactly. Because they all look the same.
Yeah. So then I would go back and bow to the minister and say, it seems the latrines are coming along nicely, sir. I see no structural problems with them. Shall we go and talk to Sergeant Gunshaw?
If you think that they've answered your question sufficiently.
I believe they have, sir.
I just imagine standing there and um,
I am still
You're,
bowing as low as I can while having this conversation.
as they're digging this latrine out, I can imagine Yura's like peeing in the corner, testing it out. It's good.
It flows nicely in the right direction, sir.
Yeah, flows away from the camp. That's a good idea.
All right. Okay. So yeah, I better understand what we're doing. So I guess I would just watch since we're getting that information. I am watching the soldiers and like how they're patrolling the camp, and if I can get an estimate of actually like who is on duty, how many are actually working the camp or on duty at this point.
Gotcha.
I mean, we were told there's about 30, but is it like half of them working or 8 or, and how diligent they are? Is it kind of like, yeah, we're out here and I got to punch the clock or?
Yeah. Does Saksha so is Saksha, does that Saksha have a military background?
No. The only background I have urban. So I've been around the soldiers in the city, so I would have a sort of kind of idea what they were doing. I mean, I wouldn't know.
Okay.
It wouldn't be at Gage's level, of course, but.
Gotcha. So, yeah, I'd say that trying to like suss that out would be pushing your luck.
Okay. Okay.
Because you're it's not
yeah.
something you're overtly familiar with.
Correct.
So yeah, why don't you make me a passion roll?
Okay. How does furrowed brow work? It says take +1 focus. Can I do?
That.
So that is just you get a permanent +1 to your focus.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So
Okay.
that's like a passive thing. You don't have to actively use it. You always have a +1 to your focus if you have that move.
Exactly.
Okay, gotcha. All right, so I want to go to.
And this is a passion roll.
Yeah, it's a passion roll. That's right.
Right. So assess. Press your luck. Okay, here we go. Press your luck. Oh boy. And I don't have any bonuses or penalties. Ooh.
Wow.
Big money.
Nice. The die are in your guys' favor today. So, you, despite not necessarily being overly familiar to like military camp lifestyle, you see that there are only probably about 5 people who are like look like they're on what would be considered active duty that are like in full regalia. Most people, everyone else is in like various kind of states of
Undress.
undress.
It's casual time, they're cooking and doing all that stuff and playing
Right.
cards or whatever.
Yeah.
Casual day.
Yeah, so there's only
Go
5.
Tuesday.
And
Taco Tuesday.
and furthermore, you notice that like the ones that are on active duty are are spaced fairly. They're not close together, so they're kind of spread around camp.
Okay.
They look like they're kind of preoccupied with other things. Like they appear to be like bent over, kind of rooting around in different crates, and like just not generally paying attention.
Right. Well, it seems that there are only 5 that are actively on duty at this point, and even those are not engaged with defending the camp. We may be able to just walk in. The rest are doing leisure activities.
Well, and if they give us any trouble, you can always just say that you're a minister.
Yes.
You don't answer to the military to begin with. You report back to the palace.
Correct.
Also, just remember, when you address me and Ura, you're minister, so you don't have to be deferential to us or ask us what we want. You should just command us. We're your servants.
Sounds good.
So I think we're just walking over to the red door tent to go in.
Yeah, we're just kind of like pick a spot
like-
where.
Yeah, look like we know where
Oh,
we're
yeah.
going and walking with purpose so that nobody stops us.
Yeah, walking
Yeah.
with purpose, not going, we'll space ourselves, so we're not near either of the guards, just kind of like a spot where, you know, we can just walk through. Probably some soldiers are hanging out, washing their clothes or whatever they're doing, just like walking with a purpose, and just kind of got my, looking at it, staring everybody down like I'm visually inspecting them, but not saying anything and just moving straight for wherever this door is.
Well, you should also remember, as part of your disguise, that since you're Assistant Minister of Technology, that your primary focus would probably be to inspect the mining technology. But you can always say that you were told to inspect the status of the camp and the town in general, the village in general.
Yes.
So you walk through the camp, and you know, the people are like, for people who are the ones that are off duty, they look up, and when they see you with the white robes, they just immediately look away, and go back to their business, choosing not to get involved with whatever this is. As you're walking through, you get to the door with the red tent.
I imagine I see a pickaxe and I pick it up as it's laying against the tent, and I show it to the 2 behind me. Make a note of this. Put it down. Keep walking.
I will nod and bow when ordered.
I just like take my staff and mark an X on the spot where it was.
Go ahead.
Yep, right there.
So you reach the door. You reach the tent, and at that time, 2 soldiers come up and be like, "Whoa, whoa, whoa, whoa! This is do you have some business here? Do you have some business here?"
I'm Assistant Minister of Technology. I wish to speak to Sergeant Gunshot.
Gunshot.
The matter is urgent. It does not need to be questioned.
You notice that this one isn't this particular these particular 2 they are a little bit of, they are not as low rank as the others.
Yeah, that would make sense.
Yeah, they give you they give you a quizzical look and say, "What proof do you have?"
Proof
Yeah,
to have.
I'm gonna, by the way, do my best to look like shocked and fearful that they stopped him to question him at all. Like I'm genuinely afraid of how Sakja is gonna react to these two louts daring to question him.
I flashed in my paperwork. I've been appointed by Lou Bifong. You wish to uh, question my papers and uh, disgrace me here in front of everyone?
Um,
I'm gonna step forward. I'm attempting to help sell this, so I'm attempting the help action again and just say very quickly, please don't make him angry. Things get so much more difficult for his servants when you make him angry.
uh,
I'm 28 years old.
Crazy old man.
make. It sounds like you're intimidating, so make me an intimidate roll.
Can he get us plus
Oh.
one for me helping?
Yeah, you can get a +1.
Was I
Taking
helpful?
another fatigue.
Uh-oh. Okay, I have plus compassion. That's good. Moves. Intimidating. Okay. Alright. Alright. I get a bonus +1.
Yep.
Come on. Nice. Sick. Oh.
It's a success. It's just not a
Monumental
not as
success.
success as the other ones.
Yeah, so on a hit, they choose one.
Oh, okay.
Um, Fine. I will. I will go retreat. I will go fetch Gunshot. He's gonna choose. They choose. I choose. They back down but keep watch.
Okay.
So he like he gives you like a question. He gives you like a hard look,
Mm-hmm.
and then ducks inside through the door. And then the other one's just kind of looking at you guys.
I wait for Sakshot to just move a little bit, and then I immediately flinch, like I'm afraid of being hit.
uh, and in a moment, after a moment, the soldier comes out and says, "You may go in to see them."
Them?
Him.
Oh, okay. All right. So yeah, I walk in, when he opens the door, I walk in, make sure my two lackeys are following me.
Okay. So you walk in, in the middle of this tent is a table with various parchments rolled up and scrawled across it. You see stooping over one of the parchments with a pen in hand. Um, uh, a a man with he has cropped brown hair, short, like a crew cut, of sorts. He appears to be wearing like traditional military wear that for his rank, which is better looking than everyone else is here. Has a few more platinum, or rather, a few more steel cuffs on it. And they appear to be writing something, and they look up and say, the Assistant Minister of Technology. I am Gunsha. I don't believe we've had the pleasure of meeting.
I am Jukasi Kavala.
Jukasi Kavala. So what pleasure am I owed this evening to be
I've come to inspect the camp and this mining operation. It is critical to the royal family that it is done in a complete and proficient manner. And these are my tasks.
Well, I assure you that the mine is at full capacity, and we have not stumbled upon any shipments or ran into any snags that would cause us to reduce our normal load or our normal throughput. Is there some concern from the royal family about the state of?
There is always concern. This is the lifeblood of the royal family.
You're free to continue your inspections to the camp. I won't stop you. Can I? I'm sorry. I don't ever remember a position of the assistant minister. Can I see your papers?
Of course, I take the papers and sit them down the table. If you wish to check them, you may.
He takes
Appointed by Lu Baifeng.
He picks up the papers and takes a look, studying them.
Get him!
In great detail.
Get her, Ray! Okay.
This sort of does remind me of from Avatar, Bonsu, Pim and Paddleopsipopolis, the third. Pretending to be him.
Let me see something.
I'm just, as I do that, I cross my arms and look to my left and right as my companions, because this is their line of work right here in case things go sideways.
And things could easily go sideways because I don't know, like, how familiar he is with, like, official ministerial credentials.
That's true, yeah.
But, like, I am not a professional forger, so it wouldn't take much knowledge on his part.
Yeah.
That said, if there is a minister of technology at all, then there must be an assistant minister of technology.
Right.
Probably
so
many.
Yeah.
And then,
many.
and then underneath you, deputy ministers of technology.
Yeah, I'd say that. Yeah, I was more so. I mean, I was trying to see, so I would say that this. I would say that Gunshot, it deals with enough like official paperwork that they would know what like real documents look like. So they would definitely know. They would definitely know that this isn't this is a forged. This is a forged document. So they look up. They look up after studying the paper and say, "This craftsmanship is shoddy at best."
I look hurt.
Now he does look hurt.
How dare you?
I'm gonna give you one chance before I call the guards and have you arrested to explain why you've attempted to talk to me with this ruse.
I give a side eye to Gage.
What was the person you said was appointed the role or whatever? The name you've been given.
Lou Bifong?
Lu Baifeng.
Yeah, you know Lou Bifong. He never works like the normal person, you know.
At that point, I slapped my head to make like a big red mark because I realized they're probably talking about Sue Baifeng, and she is not a man.
Yeah. I just,
I have no idea.
Yeah. I mean, I was just gonna play that. I was gonna play along that there was a Lou Bifong somewhere. Maybe they just crazy Uncle Lou just never was really.
I thought
talking about
that was made up too. So
yeah. So it's fine.
Yeah. And Lou Bifong, he flies, makes his own rules,
Yeah, and I'm sort of the wrong person to side-eye because as soon as you side-eye me to speak up, I would probably say, "Your reign of terror is over."
Well, that's fine with me.
You've been oppressing this town and attacking spirits unchecked for far too long. Why is it that you are trying to dominate the spirits that you should be living in harmony with?
The spirits cannot simply be controlled. They cannot be accounted for. They do not operate on our plane of existence. They do not operate by our rules. Therefore, I've kicked them. I've had them removed so that I can maintain order for the people that can follow by the rules.
All you've done is darkened these spirits so that they are attacking people outside of your sight. You're making the world more dangerous. We're meant to live in harmony without any rules, by you or by anyone. Your whole corrupt system needs to be overthrown. The people will rise up. People like you will be lined against the wall and shot with arrows.
All right, now calm down, Sonny.
I've heard this rhetoric before. This could be a good opportunity for a balance move. But is restraint versus results.
I don't even know. I don't know. I'm definitely not going towards restraint on this one, but I'm not really sure what I'm trying to accomplish for him to lay down all of his authority, possibly to bow to the revolutionary forces that we represent. See, my harmony is -1, so I'm playing into that.
That makes sense.
And I feel like I would definitely pipe up.
It's like, listen, we don't need to go so extreme. But you're only agitating the spirits. It's only going to get worse if you keep doing this. You have to stop.
Yeah, I don't know what his principles are, so I can't really call him to live up to his principles.
Yeah, there's That's one of the things. It's on here. It's somewhere in here. Like there is one of the moves is to. Oh, it's a technique during an exchange. I think there's one of the evade and test balance is a way to learn what their principle is, but that happens during exchange technique or combat exchanges. Um, hmm.
I'd like. I could try and do a bit of a special intimidation that I have, perhaps.
Very good.
It's my as long as I'm breathing. Basically, I was just gonna tell him,
If you keep this up, it will only get worse, and I will be forced to stop you.
So
And I will stop at nothing.
Right.
This is
So
this
what you're,
little old
you're
man.
trying to intimidate him.
Yeah, I'm just this little old man saying it as calmly as possible, like just with absolute serenity, that he will stop him. If he must. If he does not stop, provoking the spirits, essentially. Basically, it allows me to use harmony instead of passion.
Yeah, I see that. Yeah, I think that makes sense. So I would imagine that in order for that to work, like that Ura is like, you said he's like speaking very calmly, but like he's got to have like this deadly.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Like this
He's speaking with
iced-
absolute certainty that he will stop you. Yeah, I will have to stop you if you do
It's-
not
yeah,
stop
it's-
yourself.
It's an intimidation attempt, but it's done with harmony.
Yeah, that makes sense. So I'd say I think that works. Yeah. So yeah, roll for an intimidate move.
I
You
guess I
should
don't-
actually just be able to like click the. Like,
yeah,
you-
I see it here. Oh yeah, I can click it over here too. Yeah.
Like in the chat, yeah.
Yeah. No bonuses or anything. Just straight roll.
Yep. And it should be +3.
I don't know.
Wow.
Wow.
Wow, man, the die are really rolling well tonight for you guys. It's great. So yeah, on that's a success, like a full success. So, you pick on a 10 first. You pick one. They cannot choose.
Pick
Yeah,
one.
so you pick like one of the options that I can't do.
I don't know what we're looking at.
Oh,
Intimidate.
Yeah, okay. Under intimidate here. I see what it is. Yeah. I'm perhaps they give in with a few stipulations.
so that's the one you wouldn't want them to choose.
Oh no, that's the one I want. That's the one I hope they choose. I guess the one that I don't want them to choose is to attack us.
Okay.
I don't want him to attack us in the middle of their camp where we can get, surrounded.
Okay. Hmm. So they uh, they will hmm. So you make gunshot like so your cold demeanor makes causes gunshot to kind of stop in his tracks, and he looks at you very seriously as he considers just what is behind this frail looking body, um, and
I imagine Buddha is at that age where like he's like really hunched over, so he's like hunched and looking up. His face is like wrinkled as shit. He's got this long like Fu Manchu, and like he's like that point where it's like his eyes are just closed, right? Just look like they're closed at all times.
yeah,
So you can't even see his eyes.
yeah. He kind of looks at you and he measures you and he sighs. You know, the lack of the reduce in supply shipments have perhaps they've clouded 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 my judgment a bit. I with the reduced amount of food coming in from Zaofu and from the surrounding provinces, the and it's rumored and reported that these are all because of spirit attacks. I was simply trying to avoid bringing that about here, since this is a crucial area of operation for Zaofu. Is an important source of iron. But it could be I just don't have the complete information.
Instead of
I'm
Perhaps instead you
will
should be helping the village instead of doing harm to it. Some of your men steal food from these people, which in turn causes the people in the village to hoard their own food.
I've I wasn't aware that it was a big problem. I was aware there was a few one-off instances, and those men were disciplined. But I wasn't aware that this was something that was happening more frequently. I will, I will, I will, I will ensure that I will ensure that at least the villagers are not harmed, and I will also ask them to stop attacking spirits. However, that doesn't mean that we have more food. We need to figure out what's aggravating these spirits that are that are attacking these farms and causing causing the reduction in food anyway. Is Perhaps you can take this back, well, to Liu Beifong and see if they can spend some resources to come up with a better solution other than just sending less. Maybe actually fixing the problem.
I'm sure it will be looked into. But for now, perhaps you should not get both you and this village killed. Work in harmony.
Soldiers think that you're hoarding the food.
If I simply tell them that that's not the case, they're just going to think that I'm lying.
You'll have to show them.
They might just think that I just moved the food to another location. But
Sounds like a
It
you
might-
problem.
I can figure this out.
And it might help if you brought some of the town leaders in and explained the situation to them so that you seem as if you're acting cooperatively with them. And they're aware of both your needs and the changes in policy that are coming. They'll be less likely to be suspicious and think that you're hoarding food if you explain things to them clearly and openly and you're transparent about the situation.
You're right, I should give Mayor Bota another chance. He looks down at his notes and rubs his eyebrows. He just talks so much. It's just easier not to
Maybe.
talk to him.
Maybe show a good faith, you'll release those villagers that you have captured.
It's a good idea. I will organize I'll organize a meeting with Mayor Bota and explain the situation and return the villagers and do it in a public way. Hopefully that'll buy some trust.
You have to try. Now, you seem like a nice young lad. You need to also talk to your men. If they don't trust you, it's because you don't talk to them. Mingle. It's important.
Let's see. I will do that. I'm on the rewatch this video. Like I really wanted. There's a balance move somewhere. Like there's this mechanic is it's somewhere, and I'm just not seeing it. But maybe on a rewatch, I'll find a good opportunity for it.
I wouldn't know.
Yeah. I will do that. Well, I've got work to do. So if you don't mind, by the way, thank you for coming. Thank you for reasoning.
Just happy you saw reason. Well, I'm hungry. Who wants a fox?
So I guess we walk out. Should we head back to our new comrade's place?
Should we take a quick look, see if there's a tent with a bunch of villagers in it, or just leave while everything's in good vibes?
It sounds as if he's going to release those people, but I'll just point over at the tent across from the red door. That's where the latrine diggers said that they were holding captives.
How quickly does this guy start moving? That's what I want to know.
Yeah, and I would say as we start walking towards that tent just to take a look, see in, I would say to Ura, you seem exceptionally wise. Do you think I tempered what I said in there? Because it really seemed like my passion really turned everything around and brought this guy to heel.
You know, it seemed like there was a lot going on there. Seems like perhaps you need to look internally a little.
And
I
thought I was
Great
looking
passion.
internally.
Great passion.
What I found internally was a lot of passion.
Yes, great passion. I'm here for it. You would have been a great Fire Nation soldier.
You
But-
keep saying that, but I don't think it's the compliment you intended to be.
I know what you mean. I was a Fire Nation soldier.
You don't
You
say.
were? Well, that sort of makes sense. The Fire Nation are mostly pacifists. Very reluctant to get involved in other people's conflicts.
Not when I was around.
Well, it's been that way, ever since Firelord Zuko. He was always very reluctant to get involved in any conflicts. And then his daughter, obviously, very reluctant to get involved in conflicts.
Was Zuko a name whenever I was? I don't think so, right?
Zuko was his name. Yeah,
I don't
you
know.
would be familiar
Back
with.
in that time,
Yeah, you'd be familiar with Zuko.
was he just like a kid at the point, or?
Yeah, he was a teenager. He was the Fire Lord's son, so he was like Prince Zuko, and you would know him. Well, like how your disposition of him, how you feel about him might depends. I guess depends on how you feel about the Fire Lord, but he basically he was exiled by the Fire Lord to go find the Avatar, found him, and then killed him, but didn't really kill him, and it was like a ruse, and he got into his good graces, and then he ended up going turncoat to go help the Avatar, then defeat the Fire Lord. So since you were in the War of Sozin's Comment, like you, if you're fighting for the Fire Nation, and you are backing, like you are on the Fire Lord side, you would not look fondly upon Zuko. If you were not a fan of the Fire Lord, but you were just doing your duty anyway, you might be more sympathetic towards him.
Okay. Okay.
Zuko was banished, by the way, and scarred by the Fire Lord, his father, specifically because Zuko didn't want to attack his father in a duel.
Yeah.
So he banished him basically for being too big a pussy.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. So he's like, did you say Lord Zuko?
Yes, he became.
As in Lord?
Obviously, Fire Lord Zuko. He ruled the Fire Nation after. Well, I was going to say after Fire Lord Ozai, but obviously there was that brief period where crazy Sister Azula was Fire Lord. But after he defeated Azula and the Fire Lord was defeated, sure, Fire Lord Zuko. That ushered in the new peaceful Fire Nation.
Yeah, that's when I left. So I don't know what happened after that.
Well, they started Republic City, and Zuko proved to be a wise and peaceful leader.
Well, good for him, I guess.
His daughter, however, also peaceful, but peaceful to the point of endangering everyone in the world.
It's tough to find the balance.
Yeah, I will definitely think about what you said. I feel like passion is my strong point, though. Do know that I want to
Yeah.
ease up on the passion.
Sometimes you gotta temper that passion. Or realize that you don't want to go too far. Straight to murder, not good. Right there, no. That is strictly last resort. Disable first, if before murder.
It sounds like you're calling out. You're calling out Gage to exert more restraint.
If that's what I gotta do, I don't know what that means.
So it sounds like you're using the balance. You could use the balance move, call someone out, and basically trying to shift his balance one towards restraint, because you're challenging his view of the world.
And I was just seeking guidance from this wise ancient figure who apparently has been like around for more than a century. Like
It's
possibly.
complicated.
That's fair.
I remember Zuko when he was just a young whippersnapper.
That
Whippersnapper. Zuko? He was ancient. Actually, Zuko may still be alive for all I know. I don't know when Zuko died.
Zuko is alive.
Yeah.
He's
So,
100 years later?
Yeah, I mean he was alive, and he hasn't died yet.
This motherfucker's. Okay, got it. Alright.
I've only known Zuko as super, super old my entire life. He's always been very, very old.
I was already old.
I think guide and
How
comfort
old?
makes sense.
This old. This happened. It's complicated.
Do I have to roll? Do you want me to roll something?
Yeah, roll. It sounds like you're guiding and comforting, so roll harmony.
Guiding. Oh yeah, okay, got it. Guiding comfort. No bonuses, just rolling.
Action point. Action point.
Wow.
Yeah. So no, they that's a fail. So so Kurt gets to choose one, or rather no.
I don't remember how guide and comfort works on a fail.
Yeah, it doesn't say. It just
I
says.
guess I just don't
I
feel very
just
guided or comforted.
I mean, the second
And
the
you're like,
second bullet makes sense. Like, if someone's trying to comfort you, you shut them down, and then like. I mean, I guess it seems like the reasonable thing, or it seems like if on a fail, like, you would shut them down, and then you'd inflict a condition, or then you'd get a condition, and then you
Right.
would shift their balance. But I could be
Right,
reading.
and it's right. So that part of it I know. On a hit, basically, I, as the person being guided and comforted, either choose to embrace the guidance and then, I can clear a condition or two fatigue, or I can choose to reject it completely, and that inflicts a condition on the person who tried it to guide me.
Right.
Guided comfort is, it's a sort of risky skill if you're using it with people that you're not super friendly with, but that's the point of it.
Right.
On a 10 plus, you absolutely, like, I absolutely have to take the guidance, even if I don't want to. That said, I wouldn't necessarily say that. So I was initially planning that Ura was going to be my lodestar, in which case I don't think I can actually reject his guidance. But I don't think we're there yet because I just met him.
Yeah, you has to perform it on you. I think somebody has to perform it successfully on you once for them to be your lodestar.
Right.
Perhaps this time because I mentioned Zuko
Not
as like a
many
young
people do.
whippersnapper. Well, whippersnapper, and like you're like, what? Wait, hold on. It makes you question like, what's the sanity of this
Right.
person? Let's wait a second.
And even if you're saying I am putting together that, you were amongst the people who attacked the Earth Nation, which I would have very mixed feelings about, because I also want to overthrow the Earth Nation government, but I don't want to replace it with a Fire Nation government. So we're like half aligned on that. But also, like, murder is what I'm really best at.
Same.
So, but I do have 2 fatigue, so I was kind of hoping to get rid of it, but I guess I didn't get rid of it.
Not yet. We'll get there.
So I would say,
Unless there's a mechanic that lets me re-roll. Is there something that lets me do that?
there isn't that I'm aware of. At least not like a one that's available to everyone.
Right.
There might be like a playbook move somewhere,
Somewhere,
but it's specialized.
I would say like because it's not really it's not really clear. So I'm just gonna take a GM move in this case, and I think that you're trying to guide and comfort him, and it doesn't stick. So you would take a condition, and that condition that you take is dependent upon Gage's response. And also keep in mind that you have like 5 conditions that no one else can take. So you have like jaded, remorseful, shaken, and worried, and frustrated.
Yep. They're on my list here, so.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I think my reaction to that would be to reject it. Like, I can't try to tamp down my passion. I can't not call out the man when the man is doing the man-type things. This guy, sure, he seemed reasonable in the end, but he was only reasonable after I yelled at him and explained how we were going to eventually line his kind up against the wall and shoot him.
With arrows.
With arrows, because guns aren't a thing yet. Maybe you're not as wise as I thought you were, old man, crazy old man. And then I go and look at the tent where the prisoners are supposed to be. So you can decide whether or not you are, whatever, troubled or insecure or angry or probably not afraid or guilty.
Constipated.
Yeah,
Yes.
I think frustrated could apply.
Yeah, and I would say I could generally see, just as I sort of understand the rules, I could see imposing a condition on something like this. Because first, guided comfort is already a little risky because I might turn around and, for simple drama reasons,
Rejected.
right, reject it and impose a condition. But I think, in this case, you did roll 2 ones.
I know. I know.
A crit fail, really.
Yeah. Character could die.
Right.
Condition, heart condition, and you
Yeah.
fall over and die.
Yeah. Yeah. So I'd say pick a condition. I'll let you choose a condition that you think makes the most sense.
You know what? I'll let my own fiery nation passion potential flare up and say I'm angry.
All right. So yeah, you are now.
Your next attempt at guiding comfort will be even worse.
Yeah.
So yeah,
I mean, that actually is the one that made the most sense to me too, because you'd be like, fine, see if I offer you fucking advice again.
I feel, I don't know, I feel like, I'll show this kid.
I already know you won't jump to murder first, though, so I feel safe.
Yeah.
So Gage would go. Gage, you pull back the tent flaps because they're closed, and you pull back and you see five people that are bound will have handcuffs. Platinum handcuffs. That are sitting in the tent.
Metal benders can't bend platinum, so that's why they have platinum handcuffs. Platinum's not super strong though, so I don't know. I actually don't know how. Maybe in the Avatar world, platinum is a much tougher metal.
I mean, I think it is, because they they've made like platinum cages that have been like strong enough that the Avatar couldn't break out of it.
My favorite platinum scene is in Legend of Korra. They're facing off against that guy from Future Tech, Asami's father. I forget his name. But he lowers a wall to trap all the characters in, and it's a wall of pure platinum, and it's like 50 feet long and 30 feet high and 5 feet thick, pure platinum. That's like all of the platinum on Earth, on real Earth.
Can I sense which one is my ward, since they're supposed to be kept in this camp?
You see, all of them look. So you can choose your ward. So it's not like there's not like a there's a predestined ward out there. Like more so like Sakshik would be like he would see.
But it was Sakcha, Rakchak, something.
He would see you know, somebody that he wants to protect and like stick his neck out for. So
Yeah, so that's how, I understand that, that's kind of how I was playing it, like, I was told that there was somebody, so I guess, like, you know, do I sense that they're in here? If I sense that they're in here, I'm breaking them out.
yeah, you see, yeah, well, in front of, in the tent, you see, you see all, you see two adults, you see two adult men, and two boys, and two like a teenage boy, and then one that looks like preteen, and a teenage girl, and um, you've got a you've got a feeling that the one that you are should protect is the teenage girl.
Okay. Can she stand up?
They all look at you because like now there's like people that are not soldiers coming into the tent,
Right.
and they're like, are you busting us out?
I believe you will be released at some point, but I am taking charge of this girl.
Kaya? And she looks
So
up.
are these handcuffs like solid, like metal bender handcuffs, or do they have a lock? Do we need like a key?
They're solid.
So could I rely on skills and training and to see, overcome an obstacle or insight and use my focus to see maybe I have a gadget or something that can get them out of the handcuffs?
Yeah, I think that makes sense. What was the
Rely on your skills and training.
Yeah, I think you could do that. So go ahead and make that focus roll.
8. Okay.
It's a hit.
Yeah.
Just not a high hit.
Yeah.
The
Unexpected consequences.
Yeah,
The
so
gadget works, but it's a hammer, and you just break your hands to fit them through them.
so these are
They'll
solid. These are solid. These are solid platinum, and you since you are from Zaofu, and are familiar with metallurgy, you think you could get them off, if you have a sufficient heat source, enough to like kind of weld them off, so to speak, and you have enough. You have the right tools in your pouch to be able to like form a makeshift weld, but you know, there's not necessarily a guarantee that it's only going to hit the metal, that it's not going to also cause some other type of damage.
Yes, I have the belt pouch arc weld.
Yeah. So
I mean, you
you
make
can-
gadgets, so you'd be surprised the technology that they have. They have like mecha suits in this world.
yeah,
So it says accept those consequences or mark one fatigue. So I guess is it more like I can take my time and take one fatigue and she doesn't get hurt, or we just get out of here real quick and then she gets hurt and then we accept the consequences?
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, so if you take one fatigue, you don't have to take the consequences.
Yeah. It's
Right. I'm
basically
gonna
like
take one fatigue and take my time.
Yeah. You're basically like spending extra effort to make sure that you don't screw it up. Is
Right.
the idea. So yeah, you know it takes a little bit, but you're able to get through the cuffs, and they fall to the ground as she rips them off. Right. So I should probably tell my mom, like you're watching over me. So thank you. I gotta go home and tell my mom.
You will come with us. We will escort you out of the camp. Now look at the other four and say, if you are not released by dusk tomorrow, we will come find you.
Will do. That's great news. And yeah, she will come with you.
Okay. And we'll just walk out of there like we own the place.
Yeah, I'd say you walk out with no pushback. You get back to town. So, you know, she's probably gonna ask to like, she's gonna be asking to like go and like go to her parents.
Yeah, I mean,
So
definitely would do that and mark like where she is, like where the house is, and then
Would be a bad look to abduct a teenage girl and not let her go talk to her parents about it.
okay. So are you gonna like just like you'll kind of escort her back to where she lives and then
yeah,
let her run off?
yeah, make sure she gets there, and then I guess I could check on her in the morning. I think we're going to be here.
Okay.
So go back to
Yeah, what was that guy's name?
Mistletoe's
Taka.
Taka the Toeless, and we'll let him know what we found out.
Okay. So yeah, so you guys head over to Taka's, the same house you were in. You see him in the front room. He's enjoying a cup of tea. You look closer. There's no leaves in it. It's just hot water. But he's enjoying it like it's tea. He says, "Oh, you've come back. Would you want some tea?"
I hate tea. I'll pass.
I don't know, matter. Come, we have business to discuss. And you again goes to the back room. And
I will, relay what happened, including, I found it extremely surprising. Actually, as a player and as a character, I think we both found it extremely surprising just how reasonable Gunshot turned out to be. I was really expecting a fight. So, the fact that he seems a little beleaguered, annoyed by the mayor, unaware of the fact his men are stealing, willing to let prisoners go, all was very surprising to me. It may be harder to start a revolution in this town than I thought.
Well, that is surprising.
Yeah, he's going to start having meetings with the mayor, even though he finds the mayor tedious. He's going to release his prisoners. He's going to stop attacking spirits. He does want the spirits to stop attacking shipments of food. And I can sort of see that if they're taking food, then, or at least destroying farms and preventing food from being shipped, well, that's bad for everyone, including the townspeople. We should probably consider ourselves looking into that. But I mean, I don't want to say I was disappointed because he seemed very reasonable, but I was kind of disappointed because he seemed so reasonable that we really couldn't murder him.
Well, I guess I'm more pessimistic that he will actually hold his word and maintain it. But I can at least keep a watch and see that he does hold to it. But
Well, we're not going anywhere. If I'm not the assistant minister of technology, I have something to say about it.
I assume he didn't give the fake credentials back.
no.
I would have taken
He
it.
said take them, yeah.
Yeah, he would have just left them on his desk, and like yeah, he wouldn't have given them back.
Oh, I didn't get it back?
No.
Oh man, I got to take it off my character sheet.
So let's make some new ones.
Yeah.
What do we want to be next? Listen to the Prime Minister.
Mark no papers.
Well, maybe
what we need to do is find somebody who actually has ministerial papers. I could do a better job if I saw what they looked like.
that would definitely help for next time. I think I can get my hands on a copy. Maybe even a well forged copy that then you can use to either use as a template or create or to just use it as is.
Credentials
I'm
don't
sure
work
would
on
be helpful.
ghosts. We should examine why they're attacking people.
Yeah, this seems to be the most pressing. I was thinking it was the government. The government still. I'm sure the Earth Kingdom government is still behind it, but.
Well, according to Gunshaw, he was attacking the spirits because they're attacking shipments and it's making it harder to get food in here, and second, because he has a fascistic sense of order and spirits don't follow his rules. And I told him no one should follow his rules, not even other soldiers should have to listen to him, because we should all be free. He didn't seem as receptive to that.
Those are wise words. You spoke rightly.
I know, that's what I was telling this guy. My point.
Of course he wouldn't be receptive to that.
I'm only just saying you don't just go straight to murder.
See what I had to put up with?
Well, I think the next thing we should look into, assuming that we need to figure out what is riling up the spirits to attack farmsteads. And it seems to, we've heard there's been reports of it happening everywhere, but if it's bad enough to cause supply chains, to cause supply chain issues, then it's more than just attacks here and there. It has much larger consequences. So, in the interest of getting spirits and humans in harmony, we should try to assuage or at least understand where this is coming from. I will see if I can find out a more specific. I will work on getting a more specific location to send you to for further investigation. In the meantime, we can hang out, or you can stay here. You're more than welcome to sleep in this room.
Also, by the way, I was going to reveal this later if it ever became useful, but at this point, I secretly sabotaged the latrine digging ditch, and so now I get to see whether or not it collapses. That was this. I was hoping to have it all basically flow into the camp, but I failed.
Yeah.
Yeah, I already
It actually works
established that.
better than it did.
Yes, I have just innovated latrine digging for all time in the future.
Yeah, I guess it now runs downhill away from camp. But towards a family.
There's moving water and there's pipes and shit. Like, what the hell?
All of like the shovels formerly had like wobbly little heads on them. Now they're all like solid, good shovels.
I kind of like the idea of this. It runs downhill, and so it's still away from camp, but now there's like piss running down to like a nest of bears, of like platypus bears, and now like they're irate, and they're kind of riled up because they're just getting shit on.
So when the camp gets ravaged by these people now.
We'll see. We will never know what happens with the angry platypus bears.
And
But, it was another critical fail, so I'm happy to mark a condition on a critical fail.
is that part of is that a rule?
No,
No.
it's not a rule.
It needs to be.
I was wondering if that was the thing that I missed.
No.
Okay, what would the platypus bears, what condition would he give them?
Oh, I mean, I think if I ever hear about the platypus bears, or I become aware that I've basically soiled the platypus bear den, that I would become troubled. As a result, partially as a result of just my utter failure to even sabotage a hole. I couldn't even make a hole collapse.
Yeah, and to clear it, you have to go seek guidance, and that's when you go back to back to Ura.
So I mean, I think we could try it out, but it seems to me like if you roll the double ones, marking condition makes sense.
Yeah, I think that's reasonable.
If it turns out that like it's killing us, maybe we'll revisit the house roll later.
Yeah, I'm cool with that. I hadn't thought about that, but I think that makes sense.
I'm just waiting for Tony's character to get rid of his anger. He's going to break something important in this house. like the guy's teacup or something.
Um,
I already got an idea on that.
Oh, okay.
but I think this is probably a good place to stop, time wise, and kind of wrapping up this day wise.
Makes sense to me.
Yeah.
My favorite part was still Tony's intimidation check, his calm intimidation check.
Yeah.
That was good.
Actually, there were a couple. I'm misthinking because there was also I enjoyed Peter's tricking the guard too. Basically, all of our good rolls, none of our bad rolls. I enjoyed our good rolls.
Enjoyed the good.
It's always nice when the heroes win.
When I was in high school, I had a civics teacher who he had previously had a stroke, and so he had as a result of his stroke, everything he said always sounded like this. He never had like any leveling in his voice. It was always just monotone. And he told us a story once where he's a Quaker too, which is weird, but he said like every day my son goes to the bus stop, and there was this bully there, and when he was waiting for the bus, this bully would come and rough him up, and he would come home, and he'd be very upset. And this happened day after day. And then one day, I went to the bus stop when he was getting off the bus, and I went onto the bus and told the bus driver I needed to speak to the kid, and I went to this child, and I grabbed him by his collar, and I said, "If you ever touch my kid again, I'll kill you." When I did that kid must have been terrified. So much worse when they say that calm.
That's hilarious.
Right.
So let's go through our growths really quick. If you can answer yes to these, then you get a growth mark, growth check. Did you learn something challenging, exciting, or complicated about the world?
That Gunshaw was not actually a villain.
That makes sense. Yeah, it's complicated. Did you stop
Is
at
this
dangerous?
for all of us? Is this as a group or individually?
You answer it individually. You go through these. I'm not sure if it's just like a GM trusts your answers type thing, or like how.
Or one player can answer for all of us. We'll just use.
Yeah, I mean, I think the point is to sort of discuss it. The GM sort of rules on whether or not it counts. Like I'm not sure. I would mark off, and so it's good to discuss. Did you stop a dangerous threat or solve a community problem? Because we don't. Well, it sounds like we did.
Yeah,
but,
we don't follow through.
Yeah, but if Gunshot doesn't follow through, then we didn't. If he does follow through, then we at least got these people out of detention.
Yeah.
I mean, as far as
And
we know, we
it
did.
does, right, as far as we know we did, but whether or not that is going to come to fruition is not entirely clear. So I don't know whether or not to mark yes or no on that one.
Right. We don't. Yeah, I don't know if we need to know for sure.
It sounds to me like Gunshaw, just making the case for a yes, like Gunshaw is at least now open to some sort of dialogue to try to solve these problems. And that in itself was part of the problem, was he was off in his camp and never seen by anybody. And he's going to try to be more open about it. Whether or not, that's not going to make food suddenly appear, of course.
Yeah.
But, he might crack down on his men stealing food, and he might let people go. So I could go either way on that one. So I think that's a GM call.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a yes.
Okay.
And did you guide a companion towards balance or end at the session at your center? I think everybody ended at their center. So.
Right.
We started there too.
Yep.
And my character growth question from my playbook is, did you seek support or guidance from others? And I did do that.
Yep. So that counts.
From Cody's character. It just wasn't a very great attempt.
Yeah. You sought it out, and you know. That's.
So that's it. That's 4 boxes for me. And I don't know what the playbook questions are for Cody or Peter's characters.
I have to have chosen a protege first. And I think in order to do that, I have to actually successfully guide somebody.
Yeah, I didn't get the fourth one. Do these reset every game, or does it like?
No, it'll stack.
Okay.
So yeah, when you get 4, then you can take a growth advancement. So Kurt, you can take a one. You can take any of the 5. Listed.
All right, I'll look at that.
Yeah, no rush on it now, but
Fine. I don't actually earn growth anyways, because
You've already reached your peak.
It's Frank and old no more. It's been around too long.
in order for me to learn new things or whatever, I have to guide my protege. Or there's some whole bit with that.
Yeah, that's it. So, what did you guys think?
I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it a lot.
Yeah.
It feels a bit different from D&D, but it was fun. Like the role playing was fun.
Yep.
I'm sort of glad I have this high passion, low harmony character because that was fun to play.
Yeah.
I'm the opposite.
Yeah, and I think that pairing actually works out pretty well. I thought that dynamic worked out well. I really liked I had some ideas of like how you guys get information, and of course the one of like impersonating like a minister was not one of them. So I thought that was really good. It was a good idea, and it was fun. Yeah. So yeah, thanks for playing.
Thanks for running.
Of course.
Yeah. Thank you.
We good in 2 weeks.
Should be.
Yeah. Should be good.
Cool. And yeah, if you guys have any other feedback or things that you think I could do better, incorporate more, or questions about the system or things.
Yeah, I think we're still learning the system, so there's going to be plenty of questions.
Yeah, but don't hesitate to reach out.
Okay.
All right.
All right, I'll